Today we're looking at the Alpha Bidet Hybrid IX. It is a electric bidet that has a heated seat and heated water. It's priced about $300, but I got it on sale for $200. So in this box there is the remote, and as you can see, it has a bunch of different functions on it. There's a 3M tape on the back to mount it to a wall. That's the user guide with some diagrams on how to install it. And here we have the water hookup and the T, as well as the mounting brackets. So as you can see, this thing's pretty heavy. It feels like it's probably at least 10 pounds. This is the top side of it. As you can see on the bottom, there's the electrical cord, and on the top is the water. That's the water hookup with some quick access buttons. And that's the electrical. On the right side, you can see where it will connect to the mounting bracket. We'll have more on that later. But basically, this thing just sits on top of your toilet seat and replaces your toilet seat. You can look at the mounting bracket and water hookup hose there. Take note of the arrow on the bracket, that'll be important later. I'm taking out the mounting screws now. There's a rubber grommet and a metal screw, as well as some metal brackets that I will look at shortly. The bidet comes with a T-valve that you will use to hook up the existing water supply. That metal piece is the tightening bracket that will keep the seat in place. Alright, on to the install. First step is to remove your existing toilet seat. Might be slightly different for you. For me, they were plastic screws with plastic caps, and I just used a Phillips bit and unscrewed it. There's a little nut at the bottom that's holding the whole thing together. So once you take those two screws out, your seat should come right off. As you can see here, that's what was holding the seat to the toilet. Toilet seat came off pretty easily. There was some mess underneath it, so I just cleaned it up before I put on the new bidet. I'm not sure what that stuff is, but we're not going to speculate. Although I trade options. So now that's all clean, we're going to start the installation process, and that starts with the rubber grommet without the screw in it. So it feels like it's a rubber tube, kind of squishy, and it goes in. You kind of have to really turn it in there. It's a tight fit. And then after you get that on, you put on the mounting bracket and the tightening bracket as well. On the tightening bracket, there are that's the silver metal piece that I'm holding, there are serrations on it that match up against the plastic bracket. And one mistake that I made was putting it upside down. So the easiest way to find out which way you should go is to find where the serrations are and just match it up to the bracket, and you should be able to feel that it catches. So that is basically the mechanism that we'll use to position the toilet seat forward and backwards. So first you start off with an approximate position, and then you tighten them later. One thing about tightening tightening these screws, I found that the rubber grommet wants to come up because there's no nut underneath like the original that fastens it from the bottom. So we're basically relying on the screw going through the grommet to push out the sides and to kind of squeeze fit the screw in there. So in order to make sure that the rubber grommet stays in, I had to put quite a bit of downward force pushing the grommet, emphasis on pushing the grommet into the toilet seat. And I'm not really a fan of this design because there's a lot of room to mess up because you're relying on squishing the rubber, and it's not an exact science. So here I'm showing you where the bidet will actually lock into the bracket. In order to put the bidet in the correct spot, you want to line the front up. So after you have lined up the bidet with the toilet, the front of the toilet, then you can finally tighten the bracket to where you want. Then you slide the bidet on, hook it up to electrical, and you're good to go.